Okay, so here we go. Welcome to Biblical Beginner Hebrew or Beginner Biblical Hebrew, week 2. Thank you for coming. I want to say one thing before we start. If you have questions or if you need to stop me when I'm presenting, as probably all of us know when we present in a meeting, you need some way to flag me. So feel free to try to raise the hand or use the chat. It should pop up. And if it doesn't, then feel free to unmute yourself and stop. Can everybody hear me? Can someone give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me? Good. Okay. I'm having a little issue with my presentation audio. I have it on right now. Sometimes when I'm talking, it mutes me for a second. I don't know why. Okay. So I'm going to go through this the way we're going to go through this. And then we are going to spend some time reading. So let's start from the beginning as we do normally. Okay. And let me see if I can get you guys the bigger screen here. Oh, I'm having a slow day today. Full screen. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Okay. So I'm going to go slow. We're going to start with week 2, and I'm going to go slower. But then don't worry, because the next slide we're going to actually look at week 1. So here we go. So Aleph Bet Primer week 2. We're learning, like I said, 5 letters every week. Last week we learned 5 letters and 2 or 3 vowels. And this week we're going to learn 5 letters and 2 or 3 vowels. So, okay, let me try to get what I wish is my husband is not here today for me to keep going back forward to that. Okay, so we have don't occur in the English alphabet. However, I do have to say that there are some easier things about Hebrew than there are in English, and that you'll get to that. Okay, so I'm trying to mute all. Okay, you got it. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Now we don't have the okay. Okay, so our letters today are the letter Resh. This is our first letter here. Our letter Lamed, right here. Our letter Daled, which is in the middle. Our letter Shin, and final Mem. And I do want to talk about final Mem because last week we did Mem, and this week is final Mem. And the only difference between Mem and final Mem is the final letters come only at the end of words. So the Mem still has the M sound. We'll talk about that. So the homework last week, I don't think there was a final Mem in it, but this is the same letter. It just shows up in different ways. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to your 3 new vowels, and then we'll start from the beginning again. So this is the vowel. It's called, oh my gosh, I want to say Sagol. It's called Sagol. Don't need to know that right this moment, but it's 3 dots, and it makes the A sound like egg, like an egg. This is going to be oh my words are losing me tonight. This is going to be an O sound. The dot, if there was a letter in here, like a dalet in here, this box, it would have a dot at the top, and that is going to be your O sound. And then we have what's called an Olam Vav, and the Olam Vav it's still an O sound. However, the dot goes over the Vav, because Vav sometimes can be a vowel holder. So we're going to learn Vav first as a vowel holder before we learn it as a letter. So again, this week we're going to look at Resh. The second one is Lamed. Dalet is the 3rd letter. And again, we start from right to left, shin, and final mem. Okay. Now let's go down. Okay. I know this is fuzzy, so thank you for bearing with me. Here is our letters from last week. Okay. And one thing you'll notice that the first letter we learned last week, maybe some of you remember it, is mem. And the difference between this mem and the difference between the mem that we were just using is this one is closed. That's a final mem. Whereas the mem that we learned last week had an opening. So if you have an M sound in the beginning of a word, you're always going to use this mem. The only way that you would use this mem right here, the closed mem, is if it's at the end of a word. Okay, last week we talked about tav. Tav is a letter that has a little toe. Mem is kind of like a mountain. Hey kind of has a hole in the middle. So we have mem, tav, and hey. And the sounds are m, t, h. Okay. Then we have aleph, which technically makes no sound. So I did tell you very quickly that a long time ago, aleph made a sound, but it doesn't make a sound anymore. And then we have noon and or none, depending on how we say it. And it's an sound, the sound. So when people, if you did your homework last week, I had it done 2 ways and both ways were right. When I asked you, tell me how does this letter say N sound, you could either write the letter N, because in English, that's how we would have the letter N, or you could write noon. So either way, they're correct. Okay. Last week, we talked about 2 vowel families. So last week, there was a lot of vowels going around. There was the E vowels and there was the A vowels. Okay. A vowels and E vowels. Okay. You will get a better grasp on those as we work through today's lesson. So if I overwhelmed you last week with all the vowels, I just want you to know right now that there's a set of vowels that make the A sound, okay? They all make the A sound, and all that matters is that sometimes the A is short and sometimes it's long, and even that doesn't even matter right now. And the same thing with the E sound. These vowels make the E sound, and it doesn't really matter if they're short or if they're long, they make the E sound. So we have our letters from last week. Again, mem, tav, hey, aleph, and nun. And the last thing I'm going to remind you about these is these are the most by most used. So again, if we were going to count up all the mems in the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Old Testament, you would have more mem letters than anything else. Okay. Okay. Now, these are our letters for this week. Okay. This again is this fancier blocked script that we use in the Torah. And I find it's sometimes easy to learn off because it's got little doodlies and little markings that kind of help us figure out how to do it. So let's figure out how we know what letter is what. How can we remember this letter? Because unlike English, to some people, this might seem more like hieroglyphics. So we have this little resh here. This is resh. Okay. And we're going to go through them individually, but really quick. This resh has a rounded edge. That's one of the ways. Here's our lamed right here. And our lamed always looks like a ladder. We have our dalet, which people teach you that is half a door, or some people say it's dented. Someone dented it. And then we have our shin right here. And shin's one of the most recognizable. Some people say it's like a crown, but that doesn't help you remember it very much. So we'll just go with its shin right now. And then again, here's your final mem. Now, I want to tell you, when you learn final mem, It's really important to understand that the top and the bottom are flat because there's going to be another letter that does look like it called Samic. And the difference is it's rounded on the bottom. But the good news is Samic is way towards the end because it's not hardly used at all. Okay. So let's look at each letter individually. And if every so often as I do a different section, if things are going okay, just let me know, thumbs up or not. Or like I said, if you have a question, just stop me with something in the chat. Okay, so here's our R. This is our resh. When we write it in Translit, let's see. Sorry, guys, I got to go over here. I'm very slow at this part. Okay. Okay. So here's our resh right here. And resh has the rounded top. Okay. Ways to remember resh. The best way I know is to remember it as rounded. Although if you're older, and most of you are not older than me, one person told me it's round and it reminded them of Elvis, who's like a rock and roll person, like that's Elvis's hair. So I don't know. Like I said, there's many different ways, but either way, resh will have a rounded side to it. And that's when we get to other letters like vav, you will appreciate the fact that resh is rounded. Okay, here's your lamed. Again, lamed is up, comes over and comes down. If you need to write it in Translit, it's lamed, L-A-M-E-D, and it makes the simple L sound. So just like lion or lucky L, it's the same straight sound. Okay, the way that we usually teach people for lamed is it's a ladder. If you have a kid, you'd stand here, you'd climb, you'd climb here, and you get to the top. So I don't have any other great ways today any other brilliant ideas on the way to remind it, but lamed is also long and lanky. So if that helps, I just don't want you to think of an S sound. So just if you think of long and lanky, that might work. So there's L, lamed. Okay, dalet. Dalet is the straight D sound. And dalet, if you can think of it this way, you know how our hay had a hole and it was part of the house? If you're going to go into your house and you're going to open the door, this is the door. Okay. So it's like a door. It is very similar to what? This is the problem. And in comparison, it helps. It's got the little scoop front like resh, but resh is round. Whereas dalet has that straight bar and then goes down. The other thing about dalet that's really cool is dalet has a dent in it. So, think about a car drives into your house and they dent the wall, you have a dent. So your garage door got dented, right? And here's your door. I don't know if that helps, but there you go. So that is the dalet. It's a straight bar across the top and then the side gets dented. Door frame or the dent. Those are the ways to remember it. Okay, shin. Okay, shin. This is the first letter that will have two positions, meaning that if you notice there's a dot right above that first, sometimes people call it crown, or sometimes people call it a leg. Sometimes people call it a lane down E. I don't know what you want to call it, but that first dot makes the shin sound. Eventually, we're going to learn this differently, and the dot's going to move to the other side, and that's going to make a different sound. But this is shin, okay? One of the ways that people know this is one of the letters that's on a dreidel. And so if you've ever used dreidel before, if you've ever seen a dreidel, this will be like noon's one of the letters, hey, shin. These are some of the letters on the dreidel. So this has a dot over it, and that tells us if it makes the shin sound, if it's on this side, and we will talk about the other one later. So how do we remember shin? Well, let's find out. Oh, yeah, that was my one. This is my one that I'm never sure. So I know some people have said, well, there's 3 sisters and they're walking. Some people have said it just looks like a crown with a dot. I guess I don't have a clever way. If you guys come up with one, let me know. But Shin has 3 tops to a flat bottom. Okay. And here we are back to our final mem. Final mem, if you look at final mem, you kind of have a race here. I don't know if people see it. There's kind of like a race right here. And then we have the flat bottom, and then it comes over here. So when we do final mem, when we draw it, we usually draw the race first. We draw the flat bottom and we come up. So as how to remember final mem, sometimes we just say you close the mountain and here's a mountain. I don't have any other great ways right now. Trying to find better ways, but it's a sealed compartment. But remember, the bottom is, sorry guys, the bottom is flat and the top is flat. They're both flat. And final mem will only come at the end of the word. So if there's anything if it's not a final mem, if it looks kind of similar, but it's not a flat top and it's not a flat bottom and it's not at the end of the word, it will not be a final mem. Oh, ski down the mountain. That was the way. Sorry. Okay. So here we go. Excuse me. Can you close my door when you leave? Okay. So we have our letters from this week. Our letter right here. And then is there anyone that wants to, you don't have to, I'll read them. Does there anyone want to volunteer to read these letters for the group? Like unmute yourself and just read them. Okay, go ahead, Lee.
Mem.
Yep.
Tav.
Yep.
Aleph.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
Nun.
And your pronunciation was wonderful. Perfect. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, does anybody want to try this week? So this is harder because you've only had these for about 10 seconds. Okay, go ahead, Lisa.
Resh, Lamed, Dalet, Shin, final mem.
Perfect. Exactly. And that was a very good pronunciation as well. Okay, so here we go. Okay, again, I don't go into this as much as I do as the weeks go on, but I do want this slide for you guys. That's why I post them, so you can go back and you can look at what they are. If you're like, man, I just don't know, like, especially if you see a plaque and you want to read what it says and you're like, I don't get this. Well, this is the Rashi for Dalet. It looks different. Okay. The other thing I wanted to point out is I had mentioned that for those of you who really want to work on your brain, or if in my case, like I should be doing this, practicing my cursive, because as a rabbi, I need to be able to write my name in cursive. And legal documents need to be signed and annotated in cursive. Some of the cursive things, how they got this cursive for Dalet, I have no idea. The same thing with the shin. The shin to us looks like an E, and the final mem looks like to us a backwards A. And lam, it's even worse. It looks like a weird old-fashioned Q. So, I mean, resh kind of seems like it makes sense. So I just want to let you know that sometimes in the cursive, it definitely will be a brain exercise. Highly worth it if you ever want to learn how to read signs in Israel. Okay. Okay. Again, here is resh in the regular print or computer print, modern lamed. Again, here's what the Dalet looks like, and it has that straight top. and it's dented in on, and that's the part I want you to see. When you go from the fancy stuff to this, how will you know it's Dalit? It's actually pushed in from the end. So when you are writing Dalit, and I have you write it, say you do the exercise this week, you are going to push it in a little. The same thing with, let's go back over to here. Oops, darn it. Where's the first one? Okay. Lamed, Dalit. Okay. The shin makes the kind of curve right here, and that third one just goes into it. So you don't try to emulate this fancy stuff. It'll be really hard. And then again, mem, just try to do your best to have as big of a flat top as you can and as big as a flat bottom as you can. Mem just kind of has like a half of a window and connected, I guess. Let's see, what's the other one? Okay, so, okay, now let me move this over. Okay, so this is, okay, let's not scare you yet. Okay, so would anyone like to volunteer, or if someone that hasn't, would anyone like to try the new letter speed drill on line 1? So, you know, I'm going to have you read, and I will help you read the line. Okay, no, okay, that's fine. Then I will do it. Oh, Lee, you want to try again? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if anybody else wants to try it. The top line.
Yep.
Tav.
Yep.
Tav, mem, he, nun, aleph.
Yep, good job. I have to tell you, your Aleph is really good. You sound just like someone who comes from Israel. So your Aleph is actually really native sounding. Anybody else want to try line 2? You don't have to, but it does help.
I'm assuming those are all reshes.
Yeah. So all of us together, we can say it together if you want, but it's resh, 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 and tav. And the reason why I do this, here's the new ones, because psychologically we know if you say something multiple times, you hear yourself saying it. And I don't know if you notice, I'm moving my cursor, lamed. Oh, geez Louise, until I do that. Lamed, 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 mem. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm getting these letters implanted in my brain. Because I will tell you, even years later, sometimes you'll look at a word and like be, oh, I don't recognize that word, or what is that letter? Sometimes they just, because it's not our native, sometimes, unless we really get them implanted, we forget. Okay. If there's no new takers, I will do line 4. Oh, go ahead. Yatina, right? Did I just say it?
Yes, you're right. I'm
you.
going to try it. So
Okay.
I think that first one is a dolly.
Yeah.
Dolly, 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 and I know I can olive.
Yes. So the only thing that I would correct is at the end, try to get that T in there. So dalit, 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 aleph. But yes, you did great.
Perfect.
Yes, and aleph is a really hard one, so I'm glad that you got that. Good job, Yatina. Thank you. And guys, I'm having a brain evening, so I apologize if all of a sudden I lose it. Some nights, all of a sudden, it's just hard for me to. My word recall isn't as good, so I apologize. Okay, anyone want to try 5? Okay, go ahead, Luke.
Shin, 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 shin. Have?
Hey, yeah,
Hey.
So your shins were awesome. Your hey, just think of hey like, hey, what are you doing? Or hey, there's hay in the silo. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Okay. Now it gets more complicated. So here we go. This is more complicated. So does anyone feel brave? Donald, what about you? Oh, Lee, you want to try it? Okay.
Let Donald do it. Let him go
Okay.
for it.
Donald, do you want to try this one or not? I don't know if he's gonna.
Mem final,
Yeah.
hey, mem final, mem final, hey, mem final, hey. Oops, sorry, mem final.
Can you see one last one, or am I covering it up?
No, I'm trying to think of what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's got the toe on the end.
Yeah, so it's tough.
Yes, absolutely tough. Good, no problem. Okay. And he had really good speed, and that's exactly how to do it. Thank you, Donald. I don't know if Lee, if you want to try line 2, go ahead. Or if someone else, like I said, Lee offered, so there's 3 more lines. So and we're all here and we all make mistakes, and believe me, I make them too. So go ahead. Oh, except for you can't see it now that I move. Try one more time.
No
Okay,
worries.
here we go.
Tav, Resh, Aleph, Tav.
It's like a ladder.
Lamed.
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 Yes,
Lamed.
that's good.
Lamed. Final mem. Nun. Tav.
Think of a door.
Door. Oh, Dalet.
Yeah.
Mem. Shin. Tav.
Perfect. Okay. Tov Mayotis, we say. Very good. Okay, Luke, you're going to try line 3, or you have a question? Either
I'm
one.
going to try line 3.
All right, let's do it.
Aleph, Lamed,
Okay.
Aleph, Dalet, Shin, Hey,
Yes.
Resh, Aleph, Mem, final Mem,
Yeah.
Aleph, and Nun.
Noon. Exactly. So perfect. Okay, Lisa, you're going to try one, right? Go ahead.
Hey, Shin, final mem. Tav, Noon, Hey, Dalet, Mem. Resh, Hey, Lamed, Aleph.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Anyone else brave enough to try line 5? Okay, that's fine. I can do line 5. Okay, so I'm going to go slower. So line 5 is Noon, Daled, Hey, Shin, Noon, He, Aleph, Noon, Lamed, Mem, Resh, final Mem, and Tav. Okay, and these are great speed drills to practice. And as you know, sometimes even I like tripped on one a little bit. So it's very good to practice these. And sometimes I tell people, if you take the speed drill 2s and you put them together in a paper or save them on your phone in a picture, you can go through and do all the speed drills, and that will help too. The only way these will get implanted, there's never been a shortcut unless you're someone that I know of that, those people who read books and memorize everything they see. There's no shortcut except to use them. So, or find a word that you really like with them in it. Okay, so we are just going to learn. We're going to work on vowels now. So does anybody have any questions about the consonants, or are we all set to go on to vowels? I'll just pause a minute. Everyone's good. Okay. Okay. So let's just review some things about vowels. Okay. And this little cheat sheet chart will help you identify the vowels. But let's just look. I've already introduced these groups. So let's go back and look at these groups. And please know that every time when I teach something, if you don't get it the first time, the good news is I'm probably going to introduce it in a way, and then we're going to come back again like week 2, and we're going to talk about it more. And then week 3, we're going to come back and talk about it more. So what we do is we build. I do building block learning. So we learn something, we build on it, and we build on it, and we build on it. And that just keeps us using the material over and over again. So you learned about a couple groups of vowels last time, the A's and the E's, I believe. And so we have 6 groups of vowels. We have the A group, the A group, the E group, the O group, the U group, and the A group. So eventually you will be exposed to all these vowels. And the reason why you just need to know this is because, as you saw last time, there's more than one way to say an ah, right? So for an ah, we can say a patak, which is a straight, remember the smile ah. We can do the kamats, which is going to the dentist ah, the ah. And then the hataf patak is really fast. These vowels also have groups because they also have grammar attached to them. So when we went to modern Hebrew, remember in the 10th century, I always laugh because that was modern Hebrew. When we went to modern Hebrew in the 10th century, we added different marks into these vowel groups because when you're very advanced in learning Hebrew, it matters whether it's a hataf patak sometimes in the grammar of the sentence. But right now, let's just talk about vowels. And here's what I call some reading rules on the right side. So the ah vowels, okay? How do you know, what's a cheat sheet way to know if you have an ah vowel? Okay, well, one of the cheat sheet methods is if there is a horizontal line in the vowel, it'll always be an a vowel. So whether it's a kamats, there's that horizontal line, okay? Whether it's a patak or the hataf patak, there will always be a horizontal line in the vowel, okay? That's easy, okay? So you know, oh, there's a line. Okay, it has to be some kind of ah vowel, okay? Now, how about EH vowels, okay? EH vowels are always dots, and they're usually always stacked dots. So we will look at, there's a rule that you're going to learn called the 3 plus 2 = 5 rule. And you will find that all the EH vowels are a series of dots put together. We just saw a vowel today that had 3 dots in it. We saw a vowel last week that had 2 dots in it. And then you will find there is a vowel that has 5, but it doesn't matter. They're all EH in the EH family, okay? And then we have the E vowels, okay? And it's dot or a dot. And I call it a mouse, so you'll see when we get to there. And then we have the O vowels or the overhead vowels. And if you don't mind me using a word, a silly way that I tell my kids, my older bar mitzvah kids, how to do it, I call it the O-S-H-I-T vowel, because think about the O vowels, they're overhead. And think about if there's a ball or something going to drop on your head. I use a ball for them because they're little kids, but just think about if there's a brick going to fall on your head, you're going to say, oh, and you're going to say it just like that, like, oh no, or the oh no vowels. Okay. Those are the vowels that are overhead. And that's usually a good way for people. They're only over the top of the letters. So we have our A vowels that always have the line. We have the EH vowels, which are always sets of dots. And then they're going to come in 3s, 2s, or 5s. The E vowels is a series of dots, and that's a interesting one. And then the O vowels are overhead. So there's kind of a vowel review, and then I'm giving you the vowel cheat sheet. So later on, if you don't know the vowel, you can come back to this one and say, where does this land in my cheat sheet? That's why I do that. Okay, so let's see what that looks like, okay? So what we know so far, so we learned this today. This is a shin today, right? And we have a vowel. You don't need to know the name right now, but it's a sagol, okay? Or no, yeah, sagol. And then this would be she. So, because it'd be the EH sound or the S sound, she. Then we would have a vowel here, say like we had a shin here. And we have the line, and this was a patak. So this was an ah sound, like the smile, ah sound. So that would be sha. Okay. And then this is the new one you're learning, the EE. It has one dot. So I always say, and I think I did say that last time, think about it as your mouse under your chair. If there's a mouse under your chair, I'm going to say, eh, and I'm going to scream, right? So think about the old fashioned cartoons where the ladies scream from the mice and they say E. So if you were sitting on top of a shin and you had an E, it'd be she, E, E. So we have E, ah, eh, okay? Most vowel marks are found under the letter. So that's the other thing. The majority of them are found under the letters. Okay, now this is more complicated on the right side. So this is another good sheet to hold on to help you remember. We know that some letters are silent, okay? But now you're learning that some letters are what we call vowel holder letters, okay? So we know the aleph is silent. It doesn't make a sound unless we put a vowel on it, okay? The other letter is vav. Now, I want you to take a look. The vav is super short and it goes down. A lot of people confuse a resh with a vav. So if I can go back here, the resh is farther, it's bigger on top and it goes down, okay? The vav is very short. So the hat is there. It kind of has the happy hat, but it goes down very quickly, okay? This vav can be a sound and it can be a vowel holder, okay? It's usually a vowel holder a lot of times, unless it's in the first part of the word. So if we had a vav and we had an O on the top, an overhead vowel, it would be vo. And certain vowels certain vowel holders take certain vowels. So for instance, vav takes different sounds than aleph, and that's more complicated for today. But I just want to let you know that we have some letters that are vowel holder letters. Luke, go ahead.
Sorry, I just on the silent aleph,
Mhm.
is it like a breath? Like, is that kind of like it's a breath out as you make the vowel sound that goes with it?
Okay, so in the past, it was more of a plosive sound with more air, but as Israel gets older and as America starts to turn our pronunciation more towards Israel, that aleph is almost completely dropped. So whereas there are times that you may put a breath in there, or a bigger breath if the aleph holds a certain, like when the aleph holds an A in the middle of a word, you may have more of a breath than what you normally would have to be able to say the word. But no, for the most part, we have totally dropped that. Now, the Yemeni, I don't know if you know, the Yemenite Israel population, their pronunciation of Hebrew is closer to the original Hebrew than any other group. In fact, a lot of the words, the reason why we know how they were pronounced in ancient Israel is because it's so close to a word, or there are matching words that the Yemeni population uses. And so there are certain words that the Yemenites will actually use a vocal, or the plosive air escape in the aleph. But really, it's basically gone the way of not much. So I don't, unless there's a word that needs it, I basically say, don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, really do keep it silent.
Got it. No,
Yeah.
that helps. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably will go to an old world seminary, if you will, and so they probably will want me to make the breath sound. But if I'm talking to an Israelite or an Israeli speaker, it's silent.
Yes, and I'd have to tell you, I took 2 seminary type classes, And one of the seminaries, and I can't remember, I think one was Lutheran, I can't remember the other one, but one of them said the same thing I do, don't worry about it. But one of them did absolutely say, just do the quick air outtake before you say it. So yes, you're absolutely right. The older school it is, maybe the more that they will have you do that exhale. So that's important to know. Okay,
But
good
this
question.
this is a great, like, because if I just done the seminary, I would never heard the other side, you know? So I'm so
Right.
glad that I'm getting that from this class. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions, or we're going to go on? Just want to make sure, because this is somewhat confusing. Now, just remember, I don't expect you to know this all right away. We're going to keep going back on this, circle, circle, circle. So, okay. Okay. Now, this is a vowel drill. Okay. And so for the vowel drill, we have, again, our vowel here. Just hold on, let someone join. Oh, for some reason, it doesn't like me. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is a vowel drill, and the vowel drill is exactly the same as the vowel drill is exactly the same as the letter drill, except for we add the vowel in front. So I'm going to show you the first example, but I'm sure you guys have already figured this out before. Okay, this is a patak, so it's the short A, the ah, right? So if we were to do this vowel drill, it would be ma, ha, na, ah. And then Luke, that's where you get the ah. Like if you have a word like ahava, which is love, they might do the I can't even do it now. Hava. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't even do it now. One day, if my brain is red, I'll get a word for you that you can tell. And then the ta. So it's ma, ha, na, ta. Okay. The hataf patak is just short. So it is ta, na, ma, ha. Okay. And the kamats is long. Does anybody want to try the long vowel, the kamats drill? No? Okay. I'll do. Oh, go ahead, Lee.
If no one does it, I will put my hand up.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Or
Hold on. There you go. Go ahead.
ma, ha, ta, na.
Exactly. And he held it nicely. That was wonderful.
Is
Okay.
it gonna like 2 counts? Because I'm kind of thinking like music theory, right?
Yeah.
2 counts.
So,
You know.
and so exactly, that's a good way to look at it. But you have to start with your hataf patak. So if you know in your head, my hataf patak is going to be like 1 count 1, and my patak is going to be 1, 2. My kamats will be 1, 2, 3, or half. However, but I'm saying your length of holding a letter needs to depend on what your beginning is. So always take a look and say, for hataf patak, if I'm going to do ta, na, ma, then I need to make sure that my next one is ma, ha, and then this is ah, ma. Yes, exactly. So whatever your rhythm is, just make sure that your counts are based off of what you would do if it's hataf patak.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
it will come, just so you know, this part basically comes natural once you start reading words, because you will find out that the way they have emphasis, like in syllables, you know how when we're kids and we learn p, t, ta, ta, or I did when I was a kid, here's syllable, here's syllable, here's syllable. That happens in Hebrew too later. So you learn syllables, and that makes the hataf patak have to be a lot shorter than the kamats by virtue of the syllable. So, okay, now we're going to look at the EH vowels, okay? And the EH vowels, if you had something in this box, and why do I keep doing that to you guys? If you had something in this box, okay, meaning any letter, and we're going to look at the letters that we've started with, okay, then you have the vowel below, and those are supposed to be circles, but my computer didn't like circles that day, so they're squares. It would be, so let's take this tav here. You put the tav in the box, it'd be te, okay? It's like, think of it as eggs in a basket. If you had a basket, you could put 3 eggs in it. I don't know if some people think it's eyes in a mouth. There's this one cartoon character that my Hebrew kids, he looks like, I don't know if it's Minecraft or something, but it reminds them of a character. So whatever, I don't care what you use to remember it, as long as it works for you. So starting here, we would have our EH drill. So I'm going to show you how this goes. Again, this one we're really good with. Ma, ha, na, and te. On the bottom, we have ra, la, de, she, and this one is kind of funny because guess what? This is a tricky question. You would never have a final mem with the vowel underneath it because it's a final mem. So you would, if you could do the speed drill, just say ma if you wanted just to get the sound, but in real life, this would not happen. So that's our EH vowels. Any quick questions on the EH vowels?
How would the final mem sound like at the very end of a word?
Okay. So, yeah, it's just it's the closing M. So if you think you have the word mom, okay, and we are going to say mom. When we do English, we have M-O-M, but we would not have another vowel. You don't, when you do mom, you don't do mo, ma. You know what I mean? There's certain vowels where there's a final M at the M and it seals the final word. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And mom is one of those. Like even mommy, you have to totally add more M's to change it, right? So that final mem, just kind of think of it as sealing the word, and you can't, after that, you can't do any more zigzag learning because you're all done. Like no vowel can go underneath it because you would need a vowel underneath it to keep going on your zigzag. It just, think of it as sewing. You get to the end, you put that final mem stitch in, and that word is done. So show, let's see, Simca, I'm trying to think of a word that you would know. And my brain is not recalling words tonight. So
Shalom.
Shalom. There you go. Shalom is perfect. Thank you. So
Elohim?
shalom. What?
That was the one. Elohim was the one I thought of.
Okay, and Elohim is perfect too. Okay, you're sealing the word. There's nothing that you could put after that word. You couldn't make it a different kind of vowel. Like you couldn't say, you know, when you say Elohai is this, Elohi is this, Elohe is this. When you get to Elohim, you're done. The ending is done. The shalom is the same thing. When you get to shalom, there is nothing that you can add after that final M. You, like in English, if you had mom, you could do mom, you could maybe do moms, right? But you can never add anything after a final mem. It's done. So that's the difference between a final mem, okay? And you will see that in action. And without me having to tell you that, if you were a Hebrew child and you were learning, or even an English child learning, you would instinctively know that after a while because you would never see a word that has anything underneath this. So, and then some rabbi would find some example where I was wrong, just so you know, that's how it usually works. So, okay, so let's talk about olam and olam vav, okay? These are the oh no words, or because you're adults, if you don't mind me saying, I call them the oh shit thing. If something is going to stand at you, because I just really want you to remember this, because people forget these a lot. If there is something coming at you at high speed, if your children or your friends or your roommates throw a basketball at you at high speed, and you turn around and you see this basketball coming at you, you're going to probably raise your hands above your head like I'm doing, and you're probably going to say something oh with an explicative after it. So I want you to get used to thinking that this dot is sort of hitting the head of the letter on top. Okay. And it's called olim. Okay. So that's the name of it, but it makes the O sound. The other thing about olim is when you say oh no or oh, it's that kind of an O. It's not a ooh, it's not a it's a straight O. So that's like oh no, oh this stinks. Like it's a pretty hard O. That's why I also make that distinction too. Now on the left or on the right, sorry, on the left of this one, you see the first olim vav. So in this box right here, say we have the letter shin, okay? And then we have this vav here with a letter on top of it. When you go to read, and you will learn this, okay? You will learn that this vav will not make any sound. It's just a vowel holder. So when it looks like this, kind of think of it as a candle that's holding your vowel. There is nothing that it can do except for say the O. So it would be, if we had a shin here and we had the vowel, it'd be show. If we had a shin here and the vowel here, it would be show. It's exactly the same. And I will tell you, the only reason why we have olim vavs and holims is because there are times for biblical grammar that you need that vowel holder. Okay. And so again, in modern 10th century Hebrew, there is a reason for the olim vav, but in your case right now, starting out, it doesn't make a difference. That is still the O on this side, just as much as the regular olim is on that side. There's no difference. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Anyone brave enough to try anyone want to try the O vowels, the speed drill for the O vowels?
I'll do it.
Okay. So, Donald, do you want to do the top line?
Yes, yes. 10. 10 to mo. Oops. Mo. O.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mhm.
O. Toe.
Yeah. Sounds good. Someone want to try the second line? Go ahead, Luke. Oh, Luke, were you going to try the second line or not?
I forgot to unmute me. Sorry. I was
Okay.
doing it.
Okay.
But it's row, low, do, show, and mo, but incorrect mo because it's a final.
Thank you for saying that. Perfect. That's exactly how I would have said that. And that is our O vowels, and our O's regular and our O's with the vowel holders. Okay. Good job, everyone. Okay. Now, does anyone remember this one here is like the mouse under the chair, and it makes a certain sound, and I can tell you the sound, but I didn't know if anybody wants to try to sight read this line, and then you can tell me what sound that vowel makes before you say it. Anyone brave enough to try it? Or still awake? Kidding.
E.
E, yes. So we have, it's our hirik. So we have, so do you want to try the line then?
Oh, yes, I'll try
Okay.
that. Me,
Uh-huh.
he, ni, e, t.
Yep, exactly. Okay. And this is a trick one. Does anyone want to tell me what the trick is about the second line? Go ahead, Lisa.
It's a very short E.
It's a very short E. It's vocalized E only. And so most of the time, how would you so what would you do most of the time?
I would just hold it, not completely
Okay.
vocalize it.
Do you want to try the line? I'm gonna just so you know, I'm gonna set you up so you don't mind. You can get me back another day. So
It's
try
fine.
to read the line because I know what you're saying, but I need to illustrate it. So go ahead, read that line.
Ye, ni, me, e, ki.
Okay. So, however, just remember that depending on where this is in the sentence, it would just be t, n, m, and h. So
Okay.
whether it's a syllable breaker or whether it's that short vocalized E, but you did it perfect. The short vocalized E is just enough E to make that word come out. And that was the perfect demonstration. So I just wanted to remind everyone that the Shiva does two things. One, it's that short vocalized E, and also that it is a syllable breaker. So then when it's a syllable breaker, it doesn't make any sound at all. So, okay. And the last one, does anyone want to try the Hirik Yod on the last one? Okay, go ahead, Donald.
E,
Mhm.
me,
Yeah,
he,
Yeah.
he, knee.
absolutely. Okay. And that's the Hirik Yod. As of right now, that it sounds exactly the same. Okay. Now I want to show you one thing and then we're going to be done. So let me show you. Oh, let's see. I'm a little bit slow, guys, at the end of the night. Sorry. I'm going to stop there and go here. Oh, come on. I didn't want to present the right one. There we go. Okay. I gave you a new resource this week. Okay. Some people find it easy to use and some people don't, and we will use it. This is all a lot of speed drills and reading. So here's your speed drill, and the X is what the letter would be. But I want to go down and show you just a different piece of it. Okay. It's gonna, oh, because here we go. Okay, so so here is, trying to find a letter that we did, M. Okay, so here is a good practice. You can go to the mem as mound or a mountain. So we already know this letter. We've practiced it. We know many of these vowels. So you can go to yourself, ma, me, ma, me, ma, me, me. And then E, me, ma, me, ma, ma, me. So they're just more vowel speed drills. And then later on, we will come back to this reference to read words. Like there's actually some words you now know because you've learned a few things. So that is in your packet. I am going to stop presenting now. So, and then let me stop recording.
Was the dot inside the final mem or the mem in general? Was that a O? I mean,
Okay. No, that is important. Let me just stop recording and I'll tell you about